people, my name is Sharkhead. How is everyone doing today? So,
rundown, like me from Swan.
then maybe we'll get to the crosshair if we have time. So, right now I'm running this game on a monitor that has a resolution of 1366 by 768, and a lot of people say that this is one of the best monitors you could have for gaming, especially for shooters, because you don't have to move your eyes or your head as much to see everything. And yeah, it's really good for keeping everything on your screen in check. So I'm running this game on full screen because I want the crosshair center. You know, if you're playing in windowed mode, your window can be centered technically, but a lot of people tend to have their windows too much to the left or right, and then the crosshair is not centered on the screen. So then, while you are able to play like that, it's a little confusing, and you won't be getting the best optimization out of your aim potential. Okay, so for letterbox, that's for your monitor. I have it disabled because this is already a very good resolution, so I really don't need that to crop out my screen. And VSync I have disabled because if you have VSync enabled, it sets your FPS to 30 by default. And while that is very good for reducing screen tearing for some people, for me it really doesn't help me at all. And anyway, at 30 FPS, I can't really aim that well, so I have that off by default. I have my brightness up to 100 because I like to see what I'm aiming at. Some parts of this game are very dark, so that's definitely helpful for me. I have my texture quality. This is a very important one, set at medium. I know there are many of you people out there who play with a texture quality of high. However, while Blacklight is a very nice game, visually, it's not always that optimized. And sometimes, even now, when I'm using HRV, my frame rate will drop to maybe 30, like just momentarily. And in certain areas,
Pappa, stör mig inte nu för jag gör en video. Jag gör en video nu så stör inte mig.
System to powerhouse a world detail of, let's say, medium or high, go for it. But I set it to low because I don't look at the world that much anyway, and motion blur makes up for it. I'll talk about that in a bit. Character detail, I set that on high because I like to look at my character. One of the main reasons I play this game is to customize my character and his weapons. Well, actually it's a female character, but it's a him because, you know, I'm a him. Yeah, I used to set character detail on low, just to see how much FPS I could push out, and as it turns out, it really doesn't make much of a difference, so I set it on high because I like my character to look good. Now, as for advanced options, dynamic shadows, I leave that on because I like to be able to see shadows, so if someone's hiding around the corner and their shadow's popping out, that's like a dead giveaway, so that's definitely helpful. I always think about that in shooters, you know. Fog volumes I keep disabled, that's absolutely useless, and it obstructs your vision anyway. Motion blur, this, it's really a matter of personal preference. I have it off sometimes if I like to get serious and I want to be able to aim at people without getting blur all the time when I'm trying to snipe. Sometimes I have it enabled just because I am bored and I want the game to look more visually better. And like I said before, motion blur actually smooths out a lot of graphics, so if you're playing with a world detail of low, you won't be able to really know the difference because motion blur will pretty much blur it out regardless. So yeah, post-process MLA, I think this is like anti-aliasing. This is important if you want to smooth out your pixels on the game. I don't notice much of a difference, so I keep it disabled because motion blur, like I said before, smooths it out by blurring it. Screen door fade. What this is, I know a lot of people don't know what it is, so I'm going to explain it right now really quickly. Screen door fade is when things fade in, fade out in the background, and it's kind of like a pixely effect. A lot of games use it for like foliage and things like that, but in the urban game like Blacklight Retribution, it's a little weird, so I keep it disabled, and I haven't really noticed much of a difference anyway, so I keep it off. Decal cold scale, a lot of people don't know what this is either. It says here, hold on, it says factor used to determine when decals are cold. Now, the value of this, I'm told, means that it's the distance. So you want it set to lower for better performance. So yeah, okay, for dynamic lights, I leave it enabled because I like the lighting in this game. Depth of field actually is even more important than dynamic lights because for some reason there are several factors to bind to depth of field. First, there is bloom. Actually, if you have let's skip ahead. If there's bloom here, right? You can have it either enabled or disabled. From what I've noticed, there really isn't much of a change when you change this toggle on or off. It makes no difference because bloom is actually attached to depth of field. See, I have depth of field set as standard, and basically when you turn it off, it removes all the blur from your weapon when you zoom in and things like that, and from the lights around you. Like you see my character's knees right now, they're glowing blue. If I turn it off, they're going to not glow like that. Because that also turns off blue. It's really weird. I have it set to standard because I like the feel, the dark ambience that the game gives me when I have it set on standard, and it doesn't really decrease my performance that much. But if you set it off, you actually might gain like 20 to 30 FPS depending on what your system specs are. Bokeh is like an even higher level of depth of field, and it's a different effect. You really have to play with it and experiment to see if it's really fits your preference or not. Light shafts, of course, I have that disabled because I don't like lights shining in my face. In Battlefield 3, I was not a big fan of the sun shining in my face. Neither am I a fan of it in Blacklight. Like if you play it on maps like Helo Deck and some other maps that have the sun shining in a certain direction, you can't even look in that direction without getting blinded. And if someone's standing there aiming at you, you can't see them. It's just not a good thing to have on, so I keep it disabled. Weather effects I have disabled also. Weather effects can be cool if you want an immersion in a game like this. On evac, for example, you have rain. So if you like having rain puddles and stuff like that going and seeing the rain in your face while you're aiming, go ahead. I have it off because just because. I really don't care whether I have it on or off because I can aim with it regardless. Static decals is basically like details on walls. So like if you look at the top of Helo Deck, I call that the bird's nest. You can see the scrawlings on the walls, I think, and these are basically the static decals that can be turned off. Really, it makes no difference because it's just there for decoration and aesthetics. Distortion, I keep it off. I think that's more like particle effects. I keep that on low as well as distortion because I like being able to see what I'm aiming at. Ambient occlusion. This is like making your weapons and stuff stand out a little, pop out a little more from the surrounding areas, the background and such. I keep it on. It really makes no difference because I have a rig that can run it. Frame rate smoothing, I keep disabled because I don't like random things fucking with my frame rate because I'm recording, you know? I don't want smoothing while I'm recording. Unless, just play with it. Just play with it. Dynamic decals, I have enabled because these are actually like the bullet holes and stuff that when you shoot a wall, like the bullet holes up here, these are the dynamic decals. I have those enabled because I like to be able to see where I hit. Sometimes when I'm testing my weapons and such, bloom I have disabled like I said before. Lens flare I have disabled because who the hell wants to look at lens flare? DirectX 11 I have disabled. Now you can keep this on or off. I have it off because it looks pretty much the same whether you have DirectX 11 on or off, so I just keep it off. You know, it's just there to sap your performance. And BLR wanted to be one of the first games to implement DirectX 11 as a free-to-play game, just for bragging rights, you know. But it really doesn't help me or you that much. Let's be honest. Tessellation scale. This is actually one of the effects that you can use. Tessellation scale is basically, if you look at the floor, for instance, sometimes it pops out. I've had actually much of the opposite effect, actually. When you're playing on DX9 or DX10, I've observed that the textures in the ground actually pop out more when you have tessellation scale off. I could be wrong now because in the last recent patches, I haven't really touched DirectX 11 at all. Image reflections is self-explanatory. Now, we're going to move on to audio. As for audio, damage audio I obviously have off because if you have it on to the max, you can hear the when you're hitting people. Now, this is great if you like to know when you're hitting someone, but personally, I don't really care for that. I know when I'm hitting someone because I know how to aim at people, so that's just redundant, and I don't like that sound. So I keep it off, and I like to actually be able to hear the full audio of my weapons as I'm shooting at people. Dialogue volume, I have that on at maximum because I like I assume this is for the announcer, so that you know exactly when a round is ending or starting, etc. Music I have off because while it sounds nice and you like hearing the wub 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 at the end of games and at the beginning of games and during games, I've heard it enough, you know. And I also like to be able to hear footsteps without hearing the wub wub wub. Next, obviously, applies to weapons, footsteps, things like that. Actually, if you have effects off, I've discovered that you can still hear the voices of the voice packs of characters running around the map. So if you want to play the game a little differently by yourself, what I suggest is try turning it off, experiment by turning off effects entirely, and music, and just listen to the map. And you'll hear like scene editor's voice on many characters as they're like reloading and stuff. Far and near in the map, depending on what you're playing on, and it's interesting because you can pinpoint people like that. Although I wish there was a way to only keep footsteps and voice packs, because they're enemy weapons, because that would be an interesting way to listen for people. You know, positional audio, hit audio. I have that off because I don't live long. If I'm getting shot at, I usually don't live long enough to hear it, and it's kind of annoying anyway. So I just leave it off. I've noticed no difference in my performing ability. And car just passed by, I'm sorry. Damage audio I already went over. Stamina audio I have disabled because I don't like hearing, I always sprint, so I don't enjoy hearing my character going. I've had this off the whole time, and I can still hear my own emotes. Actually, I think I might still be able to hear other people's emotes, so I don't think this works regardless. VoIP, I have push to talk enabled. I actually have my HRV set to B and V set to push to talk. See, a lot of people have HRV set to G, but I reversed it. And this might confuse some of you. I know I had a little of a rough time adjusting because I would press V for HRV and then I just end up talking to people and they're like, what the fuck, why are you talking to me? But yeah, I have playback volume set to off because most of the time I don't want to be hearing people whining on the game. Although it is sometimes funny to hear someone talking. I usually have it off because when I'm trying to focus on footsteps and stuff, I don't want to hear my teammates whining about how come they're getting killed, blah, blah, blah. In the previous video, I said that I use a horizontal crosshair. I've been experimenting with it. It's actually made up of 2 ticks. In the center, there's like a little space there so I can get my shots in. And I don't get too confused as to where the center of the screen is. It actually unconsciously helps me center better because I can line up my shots, you know? And so if there's like 2 or 3 people in the same room, I can just swing across and I don't have to worry whether I'm on target or not. It's a horizontal line, you know? You can't really go wrong with that. Oh, and I keep my tick length so that there's no way to actually miss it. I used to keep my tick length around 4 or 5, and that was just way too small. I would look at the center of the screen after looking around the peripheral ends, and I'd be like, oh shit, where's my crosshair? And then by that time, it's too late, you're already dead. I keep my crosshair green. I would, if there were no options to differentiate between friendly and enemy, I would keep it on pink. Not many things in this game are pink, so it stands out on the screen. And when you want to be able to aim at people, you won't get lost visually, you know? It won't play tricks on your vision. So, and also green is another one. I have it on light green, because not many things in this game are light green. It's either black, gray, white, or light cyan. See, if I had this on light cyan, I would get very confused, or maybe light orange. There is actually no orange as far as I can see, so although I don't know why you would use orange, because you would just get it lost on the enemy's lights, because when you're aiming at people, they have orange lights on them, so yeah. I'm going to put it back on light green. Enemies, I have it on light purple. I have set it crosshair enabled, so because I already know exactly when to stop shooting, so I don't need to know exactly the spread of my weapons. I already know the spread. I have it enabled so that I don't lose the center of the screen. I have the smart reticle opacity off. I used to have it on all the time because back then I didn't know you could turn it off. This is actually supposed to be an ammo counter to help you determine whether to reload, what time to reload or not. But ever since I centralized my HUD, as in my previous several videos, as you've seen obviously, I've centered the ammo counter for the most part so that I don't have that issue. So I no longer need this smart reticle blocking my vision, telling me what I've already known. And that's all I want to share for now. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out a bit, if at all. And leave a comment telling me what you think. I'll see you guys later. Large scale battles, you know.